This is what it takes to reach every tier of Hunter in Identity V. Manticore. By this tier, you likely have an A badge if being consistently playing one Hunter. Around this tier, you're introduced to the concept of spawn selection. Most survivors will spawn the same places every game. The more you play, the more you memorize spawn patterns. Speaking of maps, you should intuitively know at this point the layout of each map, where buildings, windows, and pallets are. If I were to ask you to tell me the pallets in Chinatown's hotel, you should be able to tell me there's one pallet downstairs and one pallet upstairs by the fin stairs. You should also have all the dungeon locations on each map memorized. You're beginning to master a trait you use, Blink or Warp or Patroller, or sometimes Excitement, and if you play a hunter like a Red Light, which most hunters can, you're also learning how to play Red Light mind games. You're starting to have a good idea of how to counter each survivor as your main hunter. For example, if you play Gamekeeper and you're going against an aeroplanist, you should already know to be wary of his jetpacks when you use your hook. At this level, if you play a hunter that's weak to harass, you're also learning what situation to bring Excitement instead of Blink or Warp. Cyclops. Around Cyclops is when you've learned 99% of the basic, raw knowledge of Identity V, the information you can look on the wiki and memorize. You should know every intricacy of every map, which areas are strong, which areas are weak, which areas you can red light trick, and which areas you just have to walk straight and chase. You should also know all the survivors' abilities, passives, cooldowns, and interactions between each survivor and your hunter main. For example, if you play Feaster, you should know that Explorer can be found by your tentacles. Depending on how far along it is in the season, this is the point you might hit your first S badge or a high A badge if you play a popular hunter. By this point, your game sense becomes equally as valuable as how good your chase is. If you down someone in 40 seconds, but then just sit on the chair for a whole minute while the survivors sell, you'll probably get a tie even though your chase was fast. You're building your intuition and thought process on when to pressure ciphers, when to bleed survivors, and when and what to trump card into, and so much more. Your movement is also much smoother, and you now almost never get caught in obstacles.